Hi, my friends. We are working on Math 811 today. 811. So get that homework out and get your workbook out. You're going to need this today. Now, included on this assignment in Google Classroom, I also put a link to a page that could be helpful to you. You might have clicked it first because it's the first link on there. And I can show you just what it looks like, just a little tiny version. But you have the big version, okay? If you want to print that out, if you have a printer at home, that would be an excellent thing to do. You might not be able to do that if you're on your Chromebook. You might have to get on your family's computer or one of your parents' computers to print that out. But it will be helpful. Now, you can use it on your computer. You'll just have to click on it or save it as a tab. Save it on your desktop or something so that you can use it when you need it, but it'll be a good thing to refer to. Another good page for us to refer to today will be page 341 in your workbooks. Hello. Come here. Come here for a second. My cat does not usually come out. She's very shy, but she came to say hi to me today. She doesn't usually do that. She must be curious about something out here. And she's leaving. Probably because I picked her up. Now she's mad. Okay, we're talking about liquid volume today and the units of liquid volume. This is similar to our metric units that we used before. We talked about several: inches, yards, meters. These ones are a little bit different. In those cases, well, let's just look at today's. I wanted to give you an example though that you can see. Okay, so on this side of my measuring thing, you can use, I use this all the time. I really do. So this side measures milliliters, right? This is 900 milliliters, 700 milliliters, 500 milliliters. On this side, I can measure in milliliters also, but these are the evens, these are the odds. On this side of my measuring bowl to measure liquid volume, I've got cups. So here's 1 cup, 2 cups, 3 cups. Then in the middle, it shows me what those are in ounces. And on the side, it's my odd number of cups. So in just this one measuring cup, I can measure ounces, cups, or milliliters. And I use this all the time. It comes in handy. If you notice, 4 cups equals 32 ounces. And that is right about the same as 1,000 milliliters. Those are different units of measure, but we can show their relationship with each other. So this is kind of what we're talking about today. And your chart that you've got attached in Google Classroom is another really great chart to show you how these measurements are all related to each other, because they are different sizes. Or is size the right word to use? Anyway, okay, so turn to page 341 in your workbook. It looks like this, and this is another really good chart. This is the one we're going to focus on today. Also, gosh, I've got so much information for you today. There's another chart in the back of your book which is helpful. If you go back to the orange part of your book in the back, some helpful pages is S4 and S5. Okay, so this one shows you liquid volume, and it shows you ounces, cups, pints, quarts, gallons. That's what we're kind of focusing on today. Gives you some helpful information in a table right there. Another one, if you are struggling with any other sort of thing that we've already worked on, here's another one that's really helpful. It's a table of measurements. And I saw that today. I hadn't seen it before today, but it gives us some information that might be helpful for previous units if you're struggling a little bit. Tomorrow, we're going to work on measurements of weight. Yes, weight. So we've got ounces, pounds, and tons. And so we'll use this chart tomorrow. But this one is S7. Okay, so you can pause this video if you want to take a look at those parts in the back. Once again, you would be looking at S4. S is in Sam, 4. And S5. That's the orange part in the back of your book. And it's very helpful. Okay, keep that in mind. Now go back to page 341 in your book. We are getting close to being done. Can't believe it. All right, so we're talking about liquid volume today, but to talk about that and to figure out how these relationships go together, we have to bring in fractions, okay? So we're talking about fractions and liquid volume. So you can tell in the table, it says customary units of liquid volume. We've got gallons, quarts, pints, and cups. Now let's look at these relationships here. In 1 gallon, and I'm right here, in 1 gallon, there are 4 quarts, 8 pints, and 16 cups. Now, a gallon, you can think of a gallon of milk. Okay, that big jug, your jug of milk is 1 gallon, okay? Now, we can look at it also, so that's kind of looking at as gallon is the main one that we're focusing on. A fourth of a gallon would hold 1 quart. So here's kind of our quart line where it's 1 quart. A fourth of a gallon is 1 quart, 2 pints, and 4 cups. For this one, for a 1 pint, that would be an eighth of a gallon, a half of a quart, and 2 cups. Okay, so we can kind of see the relationship here between these measurements. But let's see if we can answer some of these questions to help us understand it a little bit more. It says to answer with a fraction in simplest forms. We know how to do that, so let's keep that in mind as we're moving on here. So number 1, what fraction of 1 gallon is 3 quarts? Okay. Well, if we look at the top, it says 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. So if I had 4 quarts, it would be 1 gallon, but I only have 3. I have 3 out of the 4 I would need to make 1 gallon. 3 out of the 4. So my fraction is 3/4. I'm gonna grab my chair or my sign, my magnet whiteboard. Here we go. Heaven's sakes. Okay. So 4 quarts equals 1 gallon, okay? But I only have 3 out of the 4 to equal 1 gallon. So my fraction, right, it's telling me that I only have 3 quarts. So if I only have 3, I'm having 3 out of the 4 that I would need. So this is my fraction right here. So for number 1, I want you to write 3/4. That's our fraction. Okay, you still with me? Number 1 is 3/4. Now let's take a look at number 2. And remember, you can always pause this if you ever need to think through things or rewind it and watch things again, right? If you feel like I'm going too fast. Okay, let's look at number 2. What type of fraction of 1 quart is 1 pint? Oh, okay. Well, we've got to look up in our chart. Okay. What fraction of 1 quart? 1 quart equals 2 pints. My handwriting is not great today. I apologize. So what fraction of 1 quart is 1 pint? Okay, so here, instead of 2 pints to equal 1 quart, I only have 1 pint, which is half, right? Yeah, I would just have a half of a quart. That would equal 1 pint. Okay, 1 quart equals 2 pints, but if I only have 1 pint, that's half, so it would be a half a quart. So my fraction for number 2 is a half. Right, on number 2, I would write 1/2. Oops, that pencil doesn't work. Let's try that pencil. Right, there we go. Okay. Okay, number 3. What fraction of 1 quart is 1 cup? What fraction of 1 quart is 1 cup? Let's take a look at our chart. Okay, let's see. It says that 1 quart equals, over here, 4 cups. So, okay. But they're saying, what if I only had 1 cup? What if I only had 1 cup? So this would be 4 of the 4 cups I would need to make 1 quart. But if I only had 1 cup, that would be 1 out of the 4 cups that I would need. So 1 quart, let's see, 1 cup is 1/4 of a quart, right? It takes 4 cups to make 1 whole quart. So if I only had 1 cup, that would be 1/4 of a quart. All right, so number 3 should be 1/4. You with me still? Let's do one more. Let's do number 4 together. It says, what fraction of 1 gallon is 3 pints? What? Okay. So 1 gallon equals 8 pints. Okay. Can you see okay? All right. And this is saying, what if I only have 3 pints? Okay. Well, it would be 8 of 8 pints equals 1 gallon. But if I only had 3, that would be 3 out of the 8 that I would need. So my fraction would be 3/8. 3 out of the 8 that I would need. So my fraction on number 4 is 3/8. Okay? Okay. Well, let's move on a little bit to our next ones. I'm going to move my chair back up here. Okay, so for our example 1, it talks about converting to a smaller unit. So quarts are bigger than cups. If I have 12 quarts, how many cups would I have? And it's also giving us a hint, and it says that we're to figure that out, we're going to multiply because we will need more of the smaller units, right? So if we're going in quarts, we would need less. Our answer would be less, our number would be less than cups because there are more cups in pints. In fact, if you look up at the top, there's 4 cups in 1 pint. So if I'm converting from quarts to cups, then the number is going to get higher because there's more cups in pints. So we would multiply, if you keep looking down, I'm in the square right here. this square right here, we would multiply by 4 because 1 quart equals 4 cups. So 12 quarts, we would multiply by 4 again, right? 1 quart equals 4 cups. 12 quarts, 12 times 4 is 48 cups. That's if we're converting to a smaller unit. So we're going from quarts to cups, right? A quart is about this much, cups is about that much. Okay, but the next one, let's look at example 2. What if we convert to, a larger unit? Like if we went from 104 pints to gallons. Well, if you take a look up at the top, there are there's 8 pints. I apologize, I'm right here. There's 8 pints in 1 gallon. 8 pints in 1 gallon. So we're going from a smaller unit, pints, a pint, is that about a pint? Pint, to a gallon, and so our number is going to get smaller. Gallons are bigger, okay? We would need fewer of the larger units, so we would divide. We would divide by 8, right? Because there are 8 pints in 1 gallon. So if I had 104 pints, I divide by 8, I would get 13 gallons. Let's try a few of these together. So number 5, it says 20 cups equals how many quarts? Okay, so I'm going to just use my board here. Hopefully this will work okay. Oh man, you can see it. I'll just use the side. Okay. Maybe. I don't have the best share here. Okay. So 20 cups equals how many quarts? Well, I like to set up kind of a comparison because it helps me understand what operation I need to do first of all. And let's just say, okay, we're going from cups to quarts. Cups are smaller than quarts. So we are converting to a larger unit, right? We're going from a smaller unit to a larger unit. So we're converting to a larger unit. If you look up at example 2, what do we have to do when we're converting to a larger unit? Divide. And I'm going to show you why in just one sec. We already know that we're going to divide because we're going from a smaller to a larger unit. But let's take a look. So up at the top it tells me that in 1 quart, there are 4 cups. Okay. So in 1 quart there's 4 cups. How do I get from 20 to 4? I would divide by 5, right? Can you see that little divide by 5? There we go. I would divide by 5. So I would need to do the same thing over here. I would divide by 5. Well, since I don't know what this top number is, I would have to go backwards, right? What times 5? 1 times 5 would equal this. So 1 times 5 is 5. So I would be dividing. In this case, I'm dividing by 4. 20 divided by 4 is 5. I kind of went the long route on that one. Maybe I'll try to simplify on our next example. Okay. Let's see. Also, because in 1 quart there's 4 cups, so I would divide by 4. So maybe I won't show you that way. I don't want to confuse anybody. Because there are 4 cups in 1 quart, let's do it that way. We would divide by 4, right? 4 divided by 4, it gets us to 1. So 20 divided by 4 gets us to 5. I probably made that one harder than it needed to be. Let's do another one together, and I won't do that this time. So let's look at number 6. Okay. So we have how many pints equals 2 gallons? Okay, Well, we're going from pints to gallons. Which one's smaller? Pints, right? So we're converting to a larger unit. This one is smaller. This one is larger. My handwriting's not great today. Smaller to larger, so we're converting to a larger unit. Look up at which example converts to a larger unit. Example number 2, right? So we know that we're going to be dividing when we go to a larger unit. So I'm just going to write that at the top so we know. Okay, the next thing that I do know also is that there are how many pints in 1 gallon? There's 8 pints in 1 gallon. 8 pints to 1 gallon. Okay. So, let's see. 8 pints in 1 gallon. But how many gallons do I have? I have 2 gallons, right? I've got 2. So, how many pints would go in 2 gallons? 16. Ooh, that wasn't a divide. That was a multiply. But I know that's right, because in 1 gallon, there's 8 pints, so 2 gallons would be 16 pints. Maybe it's because that's my first one, not my second. Kind of looking at it backwards. Okay. Let's look at the next one. Number 7. I'm sure that's why. 15 quarts. Oh my gosh, my handwriting today. It's just like I'm at a weird angle and I can't make it look good. 15 quarts equals how many cups? Okay. So if we look up at the top, it says in 1 quart, there are how many cups? 4. Ooh, I'm getting to the point where you can't see it anymore, right? Come on, Mrs. Norman. Oh, heavens to Betsy. I'm losing it today. It's one of those days. You know, sometimes you just are struggling. 15 quarts equals how many cups? Okay, well, it tells us at the top that in 1 quart, there are 4 cups. Okay? Okay. Well, if in 1 quart there's 4 cups, I'm trying to find cups for 15 quarts. Well, I timesed 1 by 15 to get to 15 quarts. So what if I times 4 by 15 to show me how many cups I would need? 4 times 15 is 60. Excuse me. If in 1 quart there's 4 cups, then in 15 quarts, I've got to multiply by 15, don't I? So 4 times 15 is 60. Okay, that was number 7. Let's just do 2 more. I think we'll be okay. I want to skip to, let's do number 10. This is number 10. I keep losing my lid. This is number 10. Okay, and we're doing 144 cups equals how many gallons? Okay. Well, now we look back up at the top, and it tells me that 16 cups equals 1 gallon. Okay. Well, I like to use my relationships again to show. So, how did I get from 144 to 16? Because whatever I do there is exactly what I have to do on this side. So I would have to do 144 divided by 16. Can you see that far? You cannot see that far. Okay. 144 divided by 16. Okay. Well, let's see. We're going to have to take a guess because 16 does not go into 1, 16 doesn't go into 14, so it's 16 into 144. Well, I know that 16 would go into 160 10 times. So I'm going to try the one right underneath that. I'm going to try 9. 9 times 9 times 6 is 54. So I'm going to put my 4 here and I'm going to carry my 5 over here. 9 times 1. Guys, I'm messing up today. 9 times 1 is 9, plus the 5 is 14. So we've got 144 minus 104 over 0. So 9 is my answer right here. 9 gallons. Okay? If there's 16 cups in 1 gallon, then how many gallons would there be if I had 144 cups? Well, this time I divided by 9, which would be what I would have to do on this side too. So 1 times 9 is 9. 9 divided by 9 would be 1. So we'd have 9 gallons. Okay. Okay. Let's do 12 together. 12. Okay, so we're doing 23 pints equals how many cups? Okay, I would like to compare pints and cups. So in 1 pint, there are 2 cups, if you can look up at your chart, right? In 1 pint, there are 2 cups. Well, to go from 23 to 1, I times by 23. So I'd have to do the same thing on this side, right? This would be times 23. However, I don't know what this one is. So it's what times 23? Or divided by 23. Oh, I'm struggling today. Remember I had a day like this last week. I wonder if it's every Tuesday. I'm recording this on a Tuesday. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. It's the middle of the afternoon. Like right now it's 2:30, so maybe I'm just, I don't know, crazy. Whatever. I hope that you're with me and you can bear with my craziness today. I am struggling. 23 divided by 23 would give us 1. Okay, I'm showing the relationships between the two. So what divided by 23 would give us 2? The other way I could do it is go backwards. 2 times 23 is 46. I'm going to use my marker the right way here. 46. So if there's 2 cups in 1 pint, then there's going to be 46 cups in 23 pints. Okay. Not my best day. It's okay. We all have days like that, right? We all do. Well, that's basically our lesson. For tomorrow, not for tomorrow, for the other part of your practice and the other part in your homework, it's some word problems. So I think I'd like to actually go over a couple of those together. So let's get our homework out. You're on 811, so I'm going to go grab the homework page 811 from my packet. Grade 11 homework, here we go. There are quite a few in here. I'm not going to have you do them all. I will have you do we'll do 2 through 12 even on the top. Um, 13, 14, 15, 16. Oh, I don't want to be mean, but I do want you to learn this really well. It's not mean to make you practice or have you practice. So we'll just do 17, 18. So basically, you're doing 2 through 12 even, and then 13 through 18. I'll show you. You can write it down on your paper. 2 through 12 even, 13 through 18. Okay? Okay. So let's talk. Oh, I don't want that anymore. Let's look at number 13 together and make sure that we're all good and we're on the same page, okay? So on 13, it says, what fraction of 1 gallon is 1 quart? What fraction of 1 gallon is 1 quart? Well, if we look back at our chart, which I closed my book, I'm not sure why I did that. What page were we on? There it is. Quarts and gallons. There are 4 quarts in 1 gallon. Okay, all right, well, my marker, I lost it. There's 4 quarts in 1 gallon. It says, what fraction of 1 gallon is 1 quart? Okay, well, if I had 4 out of the 4 quarts, that would equal a gallon, but I only have 1 out of the 4 quarts that would equal a gallon. So my fraction is 1/4. Let's take a look at number, let's do number 18 together. Samantha saw 2 bottles of ketchup at the store for the same price. 1 bottle contained 4 pints of ketchup. I'm just going to write these down so I can remember. So 1 bottle is 4 pints. And the other contained 1.25 quarts. Pints, quarts. So we're in 2 different measurements here. Which bottle was the better bargain? Ooh, we're comparing, aren't we? Yeah. Okay, let's see how we can compare these together. They're the same price. So basically, if we want to know which bottle's the better bargain, we want to pay the least amount for the most amount of product. So what we want to do is find out which one of these is largest. Which one has the most volume? Because it says that they cost the same price, then whichever one is bigger is going to be the better deal, right? We'll get a larger amount of ketchup for the same price than another bottle which has a smaller amount of ketchup. Well, we want the larger amount, right? Okay, we're getting the biggest bang for our buck. Okay, so let's look back at our chart then, and we'll make another comparison here. So let's see, pints are smaller than quarts, we know that. In fact, there is, in a half of a quart, there is 1 pint, okay? Well, I want to convert. I got to think through how to do this one and show you guys. I wish I could have you raise your hands. Sometimes it takes me a minute to figure these out as well, and that's okay. That's okay. So let's see. 4 pints equals how many quarts? Okay. Well, I would do times 4 because I'm going from 1 pint to 4 pints, right? And I want to know how many quarts that is. So a half of a quart times 4, a half of a quart times 4 is 2 quarts. Okay. So I have 4 pints equals 2 quarts. I'm just making sure that I did that correctly. Yes, okay. And then, but this bottle is 1.25 quarts, which is less. Ooh, you guys can't see. Let's do that. Okay, so 4 pints equals 2 quarts. But the other bottle of ketchup is only 1 25/100 of a quart. That's smaller than 2. So the larger amount is the 4 pints for sure. It's definitely larger than 1.25 because it says that 4 pints equals 2 quarts. Well, 1.25 is smaller than the 2 quarts. So the larger amount would be 4 pints. The 4 pint bottle, right? Okay, there we go. Took me a minute. It does. Sometimes I don't always know which ones I'm going to go through with you, and so I'm doing it at the same time as you are. And even though I know how to do it, I just have to think through the process because I have to think through the process, but I also have to think how to explain it to you, and it takes a minute sometimes. So thank you for your patience. You guys are amazing. Okay, so that's your work for today. Good luck. Have fun. You'll do a great job. You're amazing. Have a good day.